Justice Kurup's intense and deep-seated concern about the youth of the nation and elsewhere is evident from the fact that he devoted quality time to explain to them in detail, often with the aid of pictorial albums and videos, the horrors of tobacco, the diseases it causes, and the mortality it inflicts, and impressed upon them the need not to get initiated into tobacco so as to lead a healthy life. He firmly believes that the seeds of lifestyle changes should be sown in the minds of the youth who are today's inspiration and the promise of tomorrow. He is of the firm conviction that a wayward youth is the curse of any nation heading for its doom. Therefore, the health of the youth is of paramount importance for the progress of any nation. To accomplish his mission of a healthy youth and a healthy nation, he travelled far and wide, visiting schools of all levels, arts and science colleges, technical institutes, medical colleges and so on, talking to them in in-depth detail about the perils of tobacco, interacting with them and answering their questions to dispel doubts.
Why do you say tobacco is the greatest monster? Why not nuclear bomb?
In my perception, tobacco is the greatest killer and not tsunami, AIDS, and not even nuclear holocaust. Tsunami strikes only once in a blue moon. Number of people dying from AIDS is far less compared to lives claimed by tobacco. And the possibility of a nuclear holocaust is very remote. There is no clear and present danger to humanity from a nuclear warfare, whereas the danger from tobacco is clear, present, and immediate. Tobacco kills people every minute, every hour, day in and day out, and the death toll amounts to millions. Therefore, tobacco is the greatest killer of our time.
There are many people who do not use tobacco getting cancer and heart attack. What do you say?
The rule is tobacco causes cancer and heart attacks. The reverse is the exception, and the exception proves the rule. For example, Churchill was a heavy smoker of cigars. He liked expensive liquor and rich foods and had no physical activity. According to current medical standards, Churchill should have died long before his time, but he lived to be 90. In contrast, tennis star Arthur Ashe kept himself in excellent shape and did not smoke. Yet he suffered 2 heart attacks by the time he was 40.
How smoking causes sudden death?
Smoking triggers a potentially dangerous rhythm disorder of the heart, leading to ventricular fibrillation causing sudden death. Occlusion of a coronary artery due to tobacco-induced atherosclerosis also causes sudden death.
Can heart attacks be prevented?
Yes, to a great extent. You control your hypertension, diabetes, lipids, quit smoking, reduce weight, and do daily exercise. These are some of the measures that will go a long way in preventing heart attack. A heart attack is like an earthquake. It can be years in the making and hit without warning. Yet, unlike an earthquake, a heart attack can be prevented.
Why not ban tobacco?
It is not practical in a vast country like India, but it can be made costlier by taxation so that many will kick the habit, as it happened in Bhutan. Government can stipulate that tobacco will be dispensed only by prescription, treating it as a drug. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So, as an experiment, it can be introduced in a small town or a city as a trial. Make a beginning is all that I can say.
The argument of the tobacco industry and its apologies to oppose tobacco control is that tobacco cultivation and trade offers bountiful revenue to the government and provides many economic benefits to the society. But Justice Kurup is not convinced.
It is true that the government collects enormous sums of money from the tobacco industry by taxation. But the tragedy is that whatever amount that has been so collected and garnered by the state is offset by the countervailing cost of expenditure to be incurred to treat tobacco-generated diseases, to rehabilitate victims of tobacco, lost to man-eaters, and finally premature death as the last straw on the camel's back.
Without mincing words, he tells them in unmistakable terms that tobacco use causes a wide range of major diseases which impact nearly every organ of the body, causing death and disability. Everyone knows that tobacco is the most important cause of lung cancer, but the lesser known fact is that it kills even more through many other diseases, including cancers at other sites, heart attack, stroke, emphysema and other chronic lung diseases. The disturbing scenario is that many of these deaths will occur in the productive years of adult life as a consequence of addiction to tobacco acquired in youth. In Justice Kurup's perception, the world today is already in the grip of a tobacco epidemic, with the grim spectre of smokers in their 30s and 40s at 5 times more likely to have a heart attack than non-smokers because of teenage smoking. Not surprisingly, Justice Kurup gave the clarion call to the nation while addressing the National Convention of Indian Pediatric Society way back in the year 1998 to stop teenage smoking. If any nation is serious about bringing up a healthy generation of youth, it should ensure that teenagers are not initiated into tobacco. Justice Kurup feels that if the youth is to be weaned away from tobacco, the time to act is at teenage and the right place is schools and colleges. He cautioned the policymakers that unless tobacco consumption is curbed, India will have the dubious distinction of being the largest sick nation in the world. Apart from preventing teenagers getting converted to tobacco, Justice Kurup has an equally important agenda, that is, the need to get the present addicts off the hook if we are serious to reduce the future burden of death and disability substantially. Justice Kurup could make a substantial breakthrough in the field by alerting and inspiring the policymakers to spring into action against tobacco through speeches, radio talks and television interviews, highlighting the hazards and the magnitude of the mortality caused by tobacco, regardless of age or gender or wealth, and the result was gratifying. District after district were declared smoke-free. Tobacco vendors and public smokers were fined. Public participation was ensured in the battle against tobacco. Kochi, the queen of the Arabian Sea, has been made the first smoke-free tourist destination in India from June 2010. Police was alerted against public smoking. Smoking scenes in films were banned and movies showing smoking scene are to display health warning. Pictorial warnings on tobacco products were brought into effect from June 2011. And a slew of measures including his own campaign conveying the message against tobacco to the vulnerable section of the population as part of his mission. His road shows in cities, marked by rallies and interactions explaining the hidden dangers lurking behind tobacco, the lethal leaf, and at tourist hotspots where visitors come from various parts of India and elsewhere, and meetings at varied locations stole the show. He took enormous pains to explain to his listeners that it is not only tobacco that causes harm, but the butts as well, which are highly toxic. Supported by statistics, he tells them that about 5.5 trillion toxic butts are tossed onto the ground every year, giving a different health and environmental dimension to the existing tobacco-related concerns facing health authorities across the world. Cigarette filter that looks like cotton is actually a combination of several toxins that spread into the environment, soil and water, threatening the health of humans and animals. Citing scientific studies, Justice Kurup establishes that cigarette filters mislead smokers into believing it as a health device, whereas it is not. Since filter conveys a wrong impression of safety, smokers are lured to smoke more cigarettes in a day, posing added danger to their health. He is of the opinion that cigarette needs to be labeled toxic hazardous waste in addition to the existing warning they carry on their packets. Since nicotine in tobacco is an addictive drug, Justice Kurup advocates the sale of cigarettes and other tobacco products by prescription only, under which doctors will be encouraged to help addicts kick the habit with treatment and tobacco cessation programs. His address to the youth and young girls to keep smokers and tobacco chewers at a distance was welcomed with claps, and it had a salutary effect. He adopted the novel method of conveying the message against tobacco through the ubiquitous auto rickshaws, the Rolls Royce of the common man, which penetrates deep pockets of the city and suburb, conveying the message against tobacco to the multitude of the travelling public. Auto rickshaws are the ambassadors on the move, showing off everywhere, carrying the inbuilt banner against tobacco. His flex shows in busy streets and thoroughfares, exhorting smokers to quit tobacco, and loudly proclaiming the hazards of tobacco as a killer, produced an instant impact in the minds of the people against tobacco. His no-holds-barred campaign against tobacco took him to every conceivable location, to busy roads, bus terminals where people turn up in large numbers for travel to different destinations, embarkation jetties where he talks to small groups of people, thickly inhabited labor colonies where he made door-to-door campaign, met hardcore tobacco addicts and convinced them that tobacco kills, and it is the arch-villain responsible for a number of killer ailments. The response he received was positive, frank, forthright and outspoken, and some of them down to earth, such as, why not the government ban tobacco altogether if they are serious about the health of the people, and so on. His campaign knows no geographical boundaries, and he is quick to grab any opportunity to propagate the message against tobacco to anyone, regardless of race, creed or nationality. His high-tech and innovative campaigning through light-emitting diodes displaying key messages against tobacco at busy traffic junctions could deliver a clear and powerful message to smokers to quit and to non-smokers not to start the habit. He took enormous pains to convey the message against tobacco at major festivals where millions congregate. In Sabrimala, which is the abode of Lord Ayyappa, according to official estimates, 25 million devotees visited the holy shrine, with 94,000 devotees passing through Pamba, the gateway to the Sanctum Sanctorum, per hour during the peak season from November 2011 to January 2012. Over a period of time, the message against tobacco could be conveyed to millions who thronged Sabrimala from various states in India and from outside, irrespective of caste, creed, religion and social status. Sabrimala temple is open to all, where the high and the low, the rich and the poor meet on equal terms. All are alike. The essence of Ayyappa cult lies in the spirit of equality and camaraderie, permeating one and all. Shivaratri is a day of deliverance, during which a confluence of humanity throng the bank of the river Periyar to offer homage to their ancestors.
I am delighted to be here on the bank of the river Periyar, where a sea of humanity will turn up to pay homage to their ancestors. I consider it as an ideal occasion to convey the message against tobacco.
As part of the rituals, devotees keep awake throughout the night, chanting devotional hymns. Basically, it's a nocturnal festival in which devotees are immersed in meditation or singing of hymns in praise of the Lord. Not less than 250,000 people witnessed Shivratri festival gathering on the bank of the river Periyar on the Shivratri day in the year 2012. To Justice Kurup, the Shivratri presented a grand occasion to spread the message against tobacco in an atmosphere that is surcharged with devotion and solemnity.